You have studied Benito Mussolini as your scholarship. What can we learn from the older authoritarians, and how would you compare and contrast today's version with those famous infamous historical figures?
Well, today, it's a really good question. Today, it can be harder to, when people talk about dictators, it can be harder to see, the authoritarian part, because when there's a one-party state and a real dictator like a Mussolini or a Pinochet, it's obvious. Today, people have elections, you hold elections, you allow multiple parties to be there, and yet you game the system so you really don't have to leave power. You use repression, you silence media, so quote, voters don't really, they don't have the proper information.
The media is silenced? You try watching CNN every night to watch Scott Jennings have to deal with the freedom of speech that's going on over at CNN. This lady's TDS is off the charts.
And so this shows you the priorities of the regime, which is, mass incarceration in the worst circumstances possible. I wouldn't put it past them to be inspired by Bukele's gulag in El Salvador to remodel Alcatraz.
They're not lunatics like some of these Democrats. What they're doing to the country is incredible. It's insane. There's something wrong with them. They suffer a major case of Trump Derangement Syndrome.
To make a reasoned choice. So that it makes it, it's a little more deceptive, the system. Like Viktor Orban, who's the muse of the GOP, calls it illiberal democracy, but there's not much democratic about this at all. One thing that doesn't change is the personality cult. And I was very worried about Trump's, state of mind when he posted that picture of himself as the Pope, because what they do, and this hasn't changed in 100 years, and it's in my book, they create these like inner sanctums with sycophants and yes people and family members, and nobody tells them the truth. And over time, they start believing their own propaganda, and they feel empowered and grandiose. And then they become really dangerous, and they do sometimes idiotic and repressive and crazy things.
Or do they teach you to talk like this and sell crazy someplace else? We're all stocked up here.